Welcome to Weiss Software's VisualCAM video series. In this video, you will learn all about adding and editing polylines and polygons to your design. First of all, let's take a look at the difference between a polyline and a polygon. A polyline is a series of continuous line segments that are open or closed. A polygon is a closed polyline that is filled. The commands used to manipulate polylines and polygons allow complete control over vertices, segments, voids, slots, fillets, and chamfers within the polylines. So let's start with adding polylines to your database. The Add Polyline command allows you to add polylines on the active layer. To do this, first go to the layer bar and make sure that the layer you want the data to go on is selected as the active layer. Then choose the decode size that you want the polyline to be. After that, go to the Add menu and choose the Polyline command, or click on the Add Polyline button on the Add Buttons toolbar. Click on the starting point to start the line, then move the pointer to extend the line and click on a second spot to end that segment. Move the pointer again to draw the second segment and click on a spot to end it. Continue in this fashion until all the desired line segments have been added. Press the Escape key to end the current polyline. You may then start a new polyline if desired on the same or different layer with the same or different decode. Also note that you can use the orthogonal snap to create straight polylines, or you can have your grid snap to the current grid. To add arcs, press the A key. This allows you to enter a 3-point arc. After entering the endpoint, move the mouse pointer to get the desired size and click anywhere on the desired radius to form the arc. Press the Escape key to end that segment. To form an automatic 90-degree arc, draw your segment and then press the 9 key. To add a tangential arc, where the start and center points of the arc are tangent to each other, press the A key and then the T key. The status bar will tell you when each command is active and what to press to turn them on or off. Draw your arc and then press the Escape key to end the segment. Press the Escape key one more time to end the command. Next, I'll add a polygon to my database. You can create a polygon either by drawing the outline of a new one or selecting an existing outline. The interior of the polygon is filled using either a raster fill or vector fill method. Note that if you plan to export your files in 274D format, you must use vector filling, as raster filling is not supported in this format. To create a polygon, go to the Add menu and choose the Polygon command, or click on the Add Polygon button on the Add Buttons toolbar. The polygon must be an enclosed area with a border, so in the Add Polygon dialog box, select Draw if you wish to draw the outline of the polygon, or Select to select a pre-existing closed polygon to fill. The results of running the command will be placed onto the selected destination layer. Selecting Same causes the polygon to be placed on the active layer. Using the Same option allows you to add polygons on different layers by simply changing the active layer while the command is active. If you select a specific destination layer, you must restart the Add Polygon function if you wish to add another polygon to a different layer. The active layer is always the source layer for either the data to be selected from or created on. If the destination layer is the same as the source layer and the polygon border is selected, the data making up the border will be deleted and replaced with a new closed polygon. Next, select a fill method. In flood fill mode, any objects inside the polygon will be covered over. In pour around mode, the interior of the polygon is filled while maintaining the specified clearances around all objects inside the polygon. Pour Around also recognizes polygon voids, which I will discuss shortly, and will pour around them. Draw Clearance specifies the distance the fill is to be kept from the draws or polylines in the design. Flash Clearance specifies the distance the fill is to be kept from the flashes in the design. Select either a raster or vector fill for the fill type. Vector-filled polygons are composed of numerous draws, while raster polygons use special commands inside the Gerber file to perform the same thing. When you select to pour around with a raster fill, many smaller polygons may be generated when pouring around circuitry. The Minimize Size parameter allows you to specify the minimized size polygon area that will be allowed. Each polygon is undersized by half the minimum size. If it implodes, it is deleted. Smooth Polygons uses the same minimum size amount to perform a copper sliver analysis of the resulting polygon pour. If any part of the polygon is found to create a potential sliver, it is automatically fixed by smoothing that area of the polygon. For a vector fill, there are 4 types of fill styles that can be used for the pour. For none, solid, and hatched, the border decode is the decode that will be used to draw the border of the polygon. None creates a polygon outline with no fill. Solid creates a polygon with a solid fill. The fill decode is the decode that is used to create a solid polygon fill. Horizontal specifies that horizontal fill lines are generated. Inset specifies that the edge of the polygon is inset with the width of the fill decode until the entire area is filled. Hatched creates a hatched polygon fill pattern. Select or check the number of lines to use in the pattern, then specify the decode to be used for each line. Step size values are used to specify the line-to-line spacing. Angle values are used to specify the angle of the lines used. The line spacing options control the resulting space between each fill line. Selecting the absolute option results in the spacing between lines to be measured perpendicularly. Using this setting makes it difficult to get angled lines to appear spaced the same as horizontal or vertical lines. Selecting the proportional option makes it easier to achieve a consistently spaced hatched pattern that contains angled lines. Dotted creates a dotted polygon fill pattern. Select the decode to use for the dots, or flashes, and the spacing between the dots in each row, the dots on the x-axis, and column, the dots on the y-axis. Specify whether the spacing should be measured from center to center or edge to edge. To create a staggered pattern of dots, select the row stagger option and decide which row should be offset. To have them staggered, the row 2 offset should be half the value of the y spacing amount, and the row 1 offset should be 0. When you are finished defining the polygon, click on the OK button. If you chose to draw the polygon, click on the various points that make up the polygon. To close the polygon, enter a point at the location where you began the polygon, or automatically close the polygon by pressing the End key. Press the Escape key to end the command. If you chose to select the polygon border, you are prompted to select a closed polygon to fill, and the Enable/Disabled Outset button appears in the status bar. When Outset is enabled, the resulting filled polygon will be as large as the source line segments, including the entire width of the aperture used to draw it. When Outset is disabled, the resulting polygon will only be as large as the center line of the source line segments. Select the desired polygon. Another quick way to raster fill an existing closed polyline is to use the right-click shortcut. Right-click on a closed polyline and choose Close and Fill. This will create a single raster-filled polygon. You can also add a void to an existing raster polygon. Voids can be defined by 4 different methods. Circular creates a circular void. The circle is defined by a center point and a point on the edge of the circle. Rectangular creates a rectangular void. The rectangle is defined by entering 2 corner points. Flash creates a void defined by the current decode. The void is defined at the location specified. Drawn creates a void defined by a user-drawn closed border. The border consists of segments and arcs as drawn. To add a polygon void to an existing raster polygon, go to the Add menu and choose the Polygon Void command, or click on the Add Polygon Void button on the toolbar. Follow the prompts in the status bar. First, click on the polygon where you want to add the void. The prompt line will then display the current void shape, circle, rectangle, flash, or draw, and the next step required to define the void. Press the corresponding keyboard character to change the shape. For a circular void, the first point is the center of the circle. The second point is a point on the edge of the circle. Once the center of the circle is established, the outline of the void that will be created is displayed as the cursor is moved around the workspace. For a rectangular void, the first point is one of the 2 corner points required to define the rectangle. Once one corner of the rectangle is defined, the outline of the void that will be created is displayed as the cursor is moved around the workspace. For a flash void, the outline of the shape of the current decode is displayed attached to the cursor. Clicking on a location will define a void of the shape of the decode at that location. For a drawn void, the first point is the starting point of an edge of the outline of the void to be created. When in drawn mode, the type edge can be changed from segment to arc by the A key. When adding edges, a tangential mode is provided, toggled by the T key, which helps in defining smooth transition between a segment and an arc or between 2 arcs. Continue to add edges to the void outline until the last edge, then click on the End key to close the void outline. Continue adding voids as needed. When you are done, press the Escape key to end the command process. The Escape key may also be used to back up the current state. For instance, if you chose circular mode and misclicked the location of the circle, pressing Escape will revert to the Enter First Point state. When in draw mode, the Escape key will back up the state of the edge under construction. If no edge is under construction, it will remove the previous edge. If the Escape key is entered when no void is under construction, the Add Polygon Void command is terminated. Note that the first point for a void that is selected must be in a raster polygon, and voids that extend outside of the bounds of the raster polygon are permitted. They will be resolved to a cutout in the edge of the polygon when they are added. Now onto the editing commands. To add vertices anywhere on an existing polyline, raster polygon, and their voids, or mill path, use the Edit Polyline Vertices command. Note that the current orthogonal line snap setting affects this function, if the ortho line snap is turned on. Also, mill paths with tabs are not editable. The tabs must be deleted or the mill path exploded before it may be modified using this command. Throughout this topic, the term data item or just item will be used when referring to the data items that are applicable to this command: polylines, raster polygons, and mill paths. To begin, click on the Edit Polyline menus and choose the Vertices command, or click on the Edit Vertices button on the toolbar. The first state is the data item selection state when one or more items may be selected. The select filter is used to control the selection mode, and an item or multiple items may be selected. If a select group is defined, the data items in the select group may be selected by using the group mode in the select filter, but note that only qualified data items will be selected from the group. Once one or more items are selected, the vertices of the selected items are marked and the second state of the command is entered. The following shapes are used to indicate different vertex types. A square indicates a normal vertex, and a circle is the midpoint of an arc. To select one marked vertex, left-click on it. To select more than one, window around them. When vertices are being selected, the Shift and Control keys modify the selection behavior. If the Control key is held down while making a selection, it puts the selection process in toggle mode. If a vertex is clicked on, or it is within the selection area, then its state is toggled. For example, if it was selected, it becomes unselected, and vice versa. If multiple vertices are selected, a majority rule is applied. For example, if the majority of the vertices in the selection area are already selected, then all of the vertices in the selection area are unselected. If half or more are initially unselected, then all will be selected. If the Shift key is held down, a range of vertices will be selected. For each newly selected vertex, if another vertex of the same object, polyline, polygon outline, polygon void, or mill path, is already selected, all of the vertices between the previously selected vertex and the newly selected vertex will be selected. When the Shift key is down, all previously selected vertices will remain selected. When neither the Control nor the Shift key is down, any previously selected vertices are unselected, and all vertices within the selection area are selected. Once one or more items have been selected, a command may be executed. However, vertices must be selected before a command can be executed, so invoking a command when no vertices are selected will only result in an error message being displayed. After selection, check the status bar to see which commands are available and press the corresponding key for your selection. To copy selected vertices, press C. The command will require a from point, which is the point from which the copy offset is computed, and an insertion point. When the insertion point is specified, the difference between the from point and the insertion point is the copy offset. Note that from and insertion points may be entered using absolute or relative coordinates. The copy process creates a new polyline or mill path with the following restrictions and behaviors. A single vertex cannot be copied. Arc midpoint vertices can only be copied if they are both preceded and followed by selected normal vertices. Once you have copied the selected vertices, click once to attach an outline to the cursor and click again to place it at the insertion point. Note that copying some of the vertices of a polygon, or polygon void, will result in a polyline being created using the active D code. If the active D code is not valid for polylines, it is not round, rectangle, or square, the copy command will abort. Copying all of the vertices of a polygon will result in a copy of that polygon being made. Note that voids of the polygon do not have to be selected. If the vertices of a void are not selected, it will not be copied. If only some of the vertices of a void are selected, they will create a polyline when they are copied. Copying all of the vertices of a polygon void will result in a new void. If all of the vertices of the containing polygon are also being copied, then the void will be copied to the new polygon. If the new void touches the original polygon, it will become a void, or cutout of that polygon. If the new void touches another polygon, it will be added to that polygon as a void or cutout. If it doesn't touch any polygon, it will be deleted when the command ends, although until the command ends, it will be considered part of the original polygon and can be selected. Press the Escape key one or multiple times to go back to a previous state until the command process ends. The status bar will tell you which state is active and when it ends. Like the copy command, the move command requires a from point as well. This is the point from which the copy offset is computed, and an insertion point. Again, when the insertion point is specified, the difference between the from point and the insertion point is the copy offset. From and insertion points may be entered using absolute or relative coordinates. The move process moves the vertices with the following restrictions and behaviors. If moving a single vertex, the from point is automatically set to that vertex. When moving an arc start point or end point, the arc midpoint will move whether it is selected or not, as the arc must be recomputed as the start or end point is moved. Moving the vertices of a polygon void will not change the polygon that void is a part of, even if the void is moved entirely outside of the owning polygon. To delete selected vertices, press the D key. Deletion of vertices resulting in degenerate items will cause those items to be deleted. For example, deletion such that a single normal vertex becomes isolated will result in that vertex also being deleted. Deletion of an arc midpoint without the deletion of the start or end vertex will result in that edge becoming a segment. For fillet, the selected vertices will be replaced by an arc tangential to the two edges starting and ending at the selected vertex. In the dialog, enter the radius of the fillet to be created and the tolerance, or minimum angle between the two edges for the fillet to be created. Then click on the Yes button to continue. Vertices that are selected but cannot be filleted will be marked with a red X. Some of the reasons that a vertex will not be filleted are the vertex is at the start or end point of a polyline or millpath section, or the vertex is an arc midpoint. Additional vertices that are not filleted may not be marked because they can or cannot be filleted depending on the parameters chosen in the dialog. For instance, a vertex cannot be filleted if the preceding and or following edges do not meet the tolerance specified, or if they are too short for the size of the fillet specified. Selected vertices can also be replaced by a chamfer segment connecting the two edges starting and ending at the selected vertex. When invoked, the chamfer parameter dialog will appear. Chamfer size is the length that the adjacent edges will be shortened to accommodate the chamfer segment, and tolerance is the minimum angle between the two edges for the chamfer to be created. Vertices that are selected but cannot be chamfered will be marked with a red X. Some of the reasons that a vertex will not be chamfered are the vertex is at the start or end of a polyline or millpath section, the vertex is an arc midpoint, and either or both of the preceding and following edges are arcs. Additional vertices may not be chamfered but are not marked because they can or cannot be chamfered depending on the parameters chosen in the dialog. For instance, a vertex cannot be chamfered if the preceding and or following edges do not meet the tolerance specified, or if they are too short for the size specified. One final note about the Disable Enable Prompts button in the status bar. When prompts are disabled, command confirmation will not be requested when a command is to be executed. Fillet chamfer dialogs will not be invoked. The previous settings will be used, and informational messages will be suppressed. To add slots to an existing polyline, raster polygon, or millpath, use the Edit Polyline Add Slot menu command, or the Add Slot button on the Edit Buttons toolbar. In the Edit Polyline Add Slot dialog, the slot width and depth are entered and whether or not the corners at the bottom of the slot are to be rounded. If rounded corners are specified, a field for entering the radius of the corner is provided. Click on the OK button to enter the initial edge selection state of the command. At this time, the slot is displayed attached to the cursor. The size and shape of the slot is displayed as the parameters in the dialog dictate. Click on the edge of the polyline, polygon, or millpath where you want the slot added. Note that if the edge is not long enough to hold the slot, or it is too near either end of the edge or a mill break tab, the click will not be accepted and the command will remain in the selection state. If this happens more than 3 times in a row, a warning message will be displayed. Once an edge has been selected and the slot has been placed on a polyline, polygon, or millpath edge, the side selection state of the command is entered. The slot is displayed as it will be generated, and it is oriented to the same side of the edge as the cursor. Moving the cursor to the other side of the edge will cause the slot to flip to that side. When the slot is oriented as desired, click the mouse and the slot is generated. The command then reverts back to the edge selection state and is ready to add another slot. When you are finished adding slots, press the Escape key to end the process. The Edit Polygon Over Undersize command enables you to oversize or undersize raster polygons. The command is also available on the pop-up menu when a raster polygon is right-clicked as Over Undersize. When the command starts, a dialog is presented that allows you to specify the parameters to be used. Oversize is when selected polygons will be enlarged. Undersize is when selected polygons will be reduced in size. There are separate selections for outer polygons and voids. When the amount option is selected, the field after it is enabled, and the amount the polygons are to be sized is specified in that field. Note that the amount specified is half the amount that each edge of the polygon will shift. For instance, given a rectangular polygon 100 by 200, if it is oversized by 10, the result will have each size moved outward 5 units, with a resulting rectangle that is 110 by 210. When % is selected, the field after it is enabled, and the amount as a percentage is specified in that field. Also, the 3 radio buttons below it are enabled, so that you can specify how to apply the percentage. Area of extents increases the width and height of the selected data if oversizing, and decreases the width and height of the data if undersizing. If minimum extent is specified, the percentage is applied to the smaller of the 2 extents, height or width, to determine the absolute amount to oversize or undersize the polygon. For example, given a polygon of 100 by 200 and a percentage of 10%, the absolute amount will be 10. When maximum extent is specified, the percentage is applied to the larger of the 2 extents, height or width, to determine the absolute amount to oversize or undersize the polygon. For example, given a polygon of 100 by 200 and a percentage of 10%, the absolute amount will be 20. When the dialog is okayed, the command enters a normal selection mode. Polygons may be selected by item, window, window crossing, group, or layer. Once a polygon or group of polygons is selected, they are over or undersized as specified. If undo is disabled, then a confirmation dialog will be presented. If undo is enabled, no confirmation is done. To copy an individual edge of a polyline or a raster-filled polygon, use the Copy Edge command. If you are copying from a raster polygon, the active D code is used for the resulting polyline. Ensure that the active D code is a valid D code for polylines. The anchor point for the copy is the end of the edge closest to where the right click occurred. Note that both segment and arc edges are supported. Just right-click over the desired polyline polygon object, making sure your cursor is close to the desired edge. When the context-sensitive menu appears, left-click on the Copy Edge menu selection. Hotkeys are available to help you make your selections. For example, to avoid the selection of more than one object, use the Page Down key to decrease the size of the bounding box until it is a reasonable size for selecting the data in the workspace. Click the location to insert the copied edge. Continue to insert copies or press the Escape key to exit the function. This completes the Adding and Editing Polylines and Polygons video in Weiss Software's VisualCAM video series.